Chit Chat with Manoj will now share this screen. This is presented here by Mr. Manoj Singh, who is the CEO of Caesar Productions. In each episode of Chit Chat with Manoj, Mr. Singh brings onto the center stage a prominent personality. Speaking of which, his guest of honor today is Puneet Alhuwalia, who is a consultant at the Livingston Group. This morning, these two gentlemen will project the different perspectives of the Trump administration. Let's see.
Welcome to Chit Chat with Manoj. I'm Manoj Singh. Hello, Adab, Namaste. Today we have a very interesting topic, start of Trump administration, different perspectives. Today on my set, I have a guest, Puneet Alhuwalia. He's a partner at New World Strategies. He is a consultant at a very prominent group, Livingston Group. He was also on the Trump's Asian Advisory Committee, and he is also elected for State of Central Committee position of Republican Party in Virginia. Welcome, Puneet.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you for having me, and commend you and Neelima for hosting this show.
Thank you, thank you. So now Donald Trump is the 45th president. He's already in place. First 2 weeks are very interesting, very aggressive agenda, lot going on in the Hill, and the cabinet nominations, the travel ban, or whatever you want to call it. So there's a lot of anxiety, concern, fear. The H1s are very concerned. The refugees, the health plan, environment, a lot going on. It seems like not only just US, all over the world, people are sort of anxious. So what's your take on it?
I would say first thing, it's very remarkable that we have a president who said what he's going to do and is undertaking and doing it. Let's start with his cabinet picks. He's brought in some really great professional people who want to take on their jobs and take it very seriously. Look at General Mattis, Kelly, and Flynn. These are people who have been brought in especially to fight ISIS, to take away the concern of the citizens about domestic and international terrorism, which plagues us all. Because when those people strike, they don't care which religion, which caste, or which creed where you are from. They just care about getting their agenda, which is a mad dog agenda, in my opinion, to go out and kill innocent people who are just trying to make a better world and a better life in the United States. So looking at that, he's gotten some really good people, professionals. And then at the same time, we can address the anxiety issue, because I don't see it's an anxiety issue. It's more about an issue of protecting our homeland and also creating jobs. Because you have to realize one thing, Manoj, that the economy has been not so strong. And he is looking inwards how we enhance our transportation, the breakdown in the transportation system, which will also lead into creating a lot of jobs. At the same time, ramping up our defense. And these are two areas, if you do very well, you're going to basically create a numerous amount of jobs. Now, coming as an American citizens, we all are, I am very excited and optimistic that here's a person who's just come in running, and he's trying to achieve certain goals in what he had made out to be and protect the homeland, at the same time focusing on the environment of creating jobs. And secondly, the companies who have been taking advantage of in terms of trade, in terms of intellectual property theft, along with people who have been doing the jobs and not giving the jobs to the US citizens like your kids and my kids. They have to be waiting out and seeing if they can get a job. They have to now think like a nationalist approach that our administration is taking. So
America first.
America first, and thinking as an American, what benefits our nation and our backyard.
Well, interesting, because when Obama took over, what the state of economy was Bush left with. And when he left office, the unemployment rate is only 4.5%. But we will cut to that. Let's go to healthcare first. One by one, we'll cover all the areas. So healthcare, I know Obamacare. I think there are few, everyone agrees on both sides that there are a few very good things in it, like for example, precondition. And
That's
also,
very important.
And also dependent care, children can be taken care care of until age 26, and a lot of insurance options. There's guarantee of insurance. We can always debate about the cost, which is going up. But I feel like it's, and there is already a talk on the Hill about fixing it rather than repealing it. What is your thought on that, on Obamacare?
Manoj, first thing is, you said there is that big focus in fixing it and not repealing it and having a good alternate where the insurance companies are competing to lower the premiums and give better services. Look, I have a child which was born with a heart condition, and that is important for most of us, is to make sure that the preconditions have been covered. At the same time, I've seen how the doctors don't see the incentive, and the load of paperwork is huge for them to take on and doing the regulations to basically, it's more regulatory than serving the patients. So we need to find a way, as I say, reduce the premiums, better service, at the same time where the insurance companies can compete anywhere in the United States to give us consumers a better choice.
Yeah, as a general citizen, I think my main concern is I don't really care whether you fix Obamacare or repeal. What bottom line is, already billions have been spent. Don't repeat it again. You know, it's taxpayers' money.
Of course.
So find a middle ground and fix it at the most optimal cost, and do the best for what everyone. I mean, there are different options on the table. Some call it that, you know, let's have Medicare for all, or let's have let's privatize it and all that. But I think experts should look at it, and so that's the bottom line. I should get the best out of it.
Well, Secretary Tom Price has been one of the biggest challengers for the Obamacare, and I know him very well. He is hopefully going to find with Dr. Verma of Indian descent, looking at a solution for Obamacare. Most importantly, as you said, something about the taxpayers. It's first the people who contribute to our community and our society and our country. They should be taken care of, and well taken care of. And at the same time, like, we have numerous Indian doctors who have really made such great headways. They should be able to maintain and manage their practice, because that's what they got into. Now, coming at that age and stage of life where they have to reinvent themselves, it's very hard for them. So I agree, we should look at it. It should be a middle ground where the American public should win.
Correct. That's the main thing. Let's move on to travel ban. Of course,
sir.
there was just a ruling by the 9th District Court that they're holding the ban. Why those 6 countries? And what I was curious was because of the harboring of terrorists in Pakistan, why Pakistan and Afghanistan were not on the list, and why stopping the refugees. It is, like you said, it's about stopping the terrorism. It's got to do a little bit with the security of American people and security of this country and terrorism. What is your opinion? Let's talk a little bit more deeper into it.
Well, first thing is a great question, Manoj. What it is the concern about terrorism and risk of our lives is on everybody's mind. Either you are boarding a flight or you're going down to the mall. You never know, some crackhead would come and blow himself up. I think, and that's one of our biggest things. So we want to make sure, or the administration wants to make sure, that whoever is coming from conflict zones, and they're coming as disguised as a refugee, as you and I come from India and developing nations, where you can easily forger the passport, and the background checks are not very thorough, and they are not very satisfactory, and the government at some time or the other will look away to let the bad elements pass, or they've paid the officials to get the passport or the visa. So that's what he is emphasizing on, or the administration is emphasizing, is serious vetting. And once we have vetted these people, and they have been great allies to the United States and our Marines and our soldiers on the ground, they should be coming. And we will stay as a compassionate country, a country of immigrants, that was going to really make this country a diverse nation. So hence, it is not a stop, but it's a serious vetting process.
Okay, that's what I've been hearing. And the wall, another thing is the wall in Mexico, and who will pay for it?
Well, he already said today that he's got a blueprint on the wall that's there. And the key thing is, again, we want people to come to our nation, but come from the right door, from the legal channels. And as you know, like, an Indian young man with a green card or citizen will get married, find a nice bride in India, wants to bring her over. Imagine the time it takes him to bring her to the United States, or even your parents, as a matter of fact. That is not fair to people coming from Asia, and where other people will kind of break down the door and just not follow the rules, and then they are here, they're important people. Again, they're all God's children. But you got to follow the rule of law, because that's what separates our country than other countries.
I agree with you. Cabinet nominees, we just touched upon it in the beginning. I think that it's too early actually to give any kind of judgment or assessment on who they are, what they are. But what little I know, they are most of them are, except for the three which are ex-generals you mentioned about it, the Homeland Security, the Defense Secretary. The rest of them are ex-CEOs. A couple of them are ex-CEOs of different companies. The concerning ones to me were energy, environment. They were totally against the whole agenda of energy. The environment one doesn't even believe that there is an environment problem. Is it a different approach? I mean, people are concerned. I mean, what is your take?
The reason I'm smiling is because I worked on the climate change issue.
Okay.
I was the one driving the point of the Republican Party. Before COP21, Obama was saying that this is what we got to do. The major difference is that you want American companies to have their hands tied at the back, whereas China and other nations, which are basically the biggest polluters and giving out large carbon emissions, they have 20 years to get their act together. Why should our American companies be penalized? But I'll go back now on about the appointees. Rick Perry, very effective, successful governor for Texas and presidential candidate at one point. I think energy, if we unleash our own American energy, we don't have to have the dependency on OPEC or the oil coming from those nations, Saudi Arabia or other nations which are basically funding the jihadist movements. So the reason is that's one area we are coming from. Tillerson, who is the CEO of Exxon, brilliant person. In fact, within Exxon itself, there's a State Department which understands how to interact with various countries and their government officials. So he's very well versed in the nuances and the importance of the sensitivity of the relationships. But again, knowing the president, he's going to direct the direction of our foreign policy and where he wants to take our country in the next 4 years under his presidency and thereafter.
Yeah, we're all hoping for the best. I want to give them benefit of the doubt. It's too early right now. Let's see what happens, at least a year. So we all know Trump, right from the beginning said, I am an outsider, I am different, I'll bring about a big change. And all these things, stop terrorism, illegal immigrants, bring back jobs to US. I don't see a surprise yet. I think what he's doing is what he promised. And he's not a politician. He's
a businessman.
But there's a lot of uproar already in the opposition, and including media and the late night shows. I think they made some snafus. Their press secretary and some of their spokespersons about alternative truth and all that. So what do you think? I think first of all, his cabinet is also not in place yet, and I think they needed to settle down. It seems like maybe they should cool down a little bit and take some time before they move forward.
Well, you see, if you know the business attitude, we want to roll up our sleeves and get things done.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be dealing with the bureaucracy, which is going to take its own course and own time. And you touched about the climate issue. You had no idea under the Obama administration how much impact the EPA had an overreach on coal companies. They made U.S. coal companies and coal miners bankrupt. When you take $80,000 salary out of a family, you make the entire town bankrupt. Go to West Virginia, go to Pennsylvania, Ohio, you will see the difference on that. But in regards to he's coming from that middle America pain, which is being felt by Americans who don't have a future. And that's the reason why he's acting aggressively, and not aggressively, he's acting in a fast mode to get things done. And that's and my friends who are in the White House right now, they're working overtime.
Okay. Well, let's move on to international affairs.
Yes.
Putin, Russia, sanctions on Iran, no money for NATO, NAFTA is a disaster, Mexico to pay for wall, Obama mended relationship. The Obama did mend, and I think he will, it seems like what my take on it is that, you know, if you look at Obama, he did mend relationship with Cuba because he said, listen, we have been doing the sanctions for 40, 50 years, it didn't work, let's try something new, and I'm with it. I think we should always try to change and see what works and what does not work. And I think his philosophy is more diplomacy rather than troops and war. So where are we heading? Where are we heading?
I would say what I have understood, war is not an option where he's won against Iraq war, President Trump. But more importantly, let me take the focus in terms of what Governor Haley or Secretary Haley said, or the Ambassador Haley now, said at United Nations, what we are doing is we're going to be a voice, we're going to hold people accountable, and we're going to tell our allies we're going to stand by you. We're not going to draw a line in sand and not do anything, because the issue in Syria right now, all the refugees are coming over, is because Obama did not do anything. President Obama did not do anything at the same time. And then Nikki Haley said that we'll take names. If you don't partner and do things with us, we're not going to come out and support you, which is very simple. You can't keep taking, you've got to give back into the system. And that's the same thing, is that I request all my folks from the Indian American community and minority communities and Asian American communities participate, contribute. You have to be seen as voters. If you don't have an ownership. That's how we are viewed.
One of the take was also that the way Trump operates, he's like you said, he was a businessman, he was a CEO, and one of the art of the deal, you know, that he maybe all this, that's banning 6 countries for travel ban, pushing the boundaries of China and Russia and all these, Iran, is like testing the waters. First he wants to push and see, engaging where we should go in the middle ground and talk about things and renegotiate the agreements. Is there something like that? I mean, it's being talked about.
Well, I think he said he'll be a very tough negotiator with most folks. But I look at this way, diplomacy is very important in international because we live in a global environment and a global economy. We have to have a very distinct clear about our allies. And I would like to see India become a strong ally to the United States, and including Afghanistan and Sri Lanka, because these are people I've met with senior leaders from these countries. They want the United States to play a dominant role in Indo-Pacific region, and they want to make sure that it's a great stabilizer. So with India, with the United States and India, they can play a great stabilizing role, not only just for that region, but for the entire world.
So touching upon that, I know, what do you think about, what's the future of H1s? There's a lot of concern out there.
Well, the amount of fraud and abuse that's happened has to be curtailed. The $60 billion business which has been run by the Indian-based IT companies in the United States, they have to give back to the system. They have to become part of the administration economic agenda. In fact, I have to say, I got a pride. My wife's IT company is working with a leading IT company where we are trying to do create jobs with the veterans. We're trying to create jobs with students coming out of college, and we're trying to create about 25 to 250 jobs in a specific area. This way, we can now turn around that these US-based Indian companies are doing positive things.
Okay. Now is the time to wrap up. I'll only make a statement. Well accepted, Donald Trump is our president, 45th president. After all, there were votes for him. He was legally elected, and elected for a reason. He had an agenda, and a lot of people thought that is what they believe in. They want to shift the country's direction in a different direction. I'll give you last minute thought. You want to talk to the people of our community?
Well, first thing is, thank you for having me on the show, and I urge my community, all the South Asians, please participate, activate your presence in campaigns, in political process, because we should be seen more as Americans than as hailing from India or Pakistan or Afghanistan, wherever we all hail from. I'm very proud of my heritage. But I'm an American first now. This is the country where we are going to grow old and hopefully go to a positive place. But our kids are going to be there. We got to leave a better, stronger nation. So that's my request, is please participate and be visible and vocal.
I totally agree with it. And it's very important, whether you are a Democrat, Republican, please participate in the political process. It's important to be heard, and and to be heard. And not only that, they should know about the South Asian culture and issues so they can be addressed. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Puneet. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, everyone. And like I always say, life is short, have fun, and no regrets.